Well, hello guys. This is Charismo. Guess I'll use that name in case I happen to use this video and use it on a separate channel. I haven't really decided that yet. But I wanted to give my thoughts on AMC, the stock play that I'm in. To kind of give my thoughts. I've now been holding for about a year, and it's been tough. I would be lying if I said that I haven't felt fatigue. Even though there's certainly hard times where like I'm done with it and I'm just very tired. But certainly those times where it's not that hard, I realize it's not, that basically no reason to sell at this point. But I just got past the point of getting capital gains, and that feels good. Something that I saw recently today was the Andes plane crash survivors. It was an incident that happened way back in 1972 when the world was a very different place. And it's one of the best survival stories ever told, as basically it's this rugby team of survivors up in the Andes Mountains in South America that their plane crashed into the mountains, and there was no one coming to rescue them. They had to fend for themselves and figure everything out in order to survive. They managed to achieve it, although there were also quite a number of the rugby team members who died. But the survivors eventually, luckily, were given second chances to be able to survive the elements and figure out how to do that using very clever techniques. It's very powerful. It's one of the most powerful documentaries I've ever seen, and this was by no means the first time I had seen it. But revisiting it now, that I'm in this play feels very different, as here's an actual life or death scenario, and these guys are not giving up on life, even though in that situation it certainly does feel a lot easier to just want to give up and die, but they don't. And one person in particular, Nando, which is like he's basically the one who orchestrates that a few of them try to get out of there on foot. And the amazing thing is they actually did it. And none of them were trained for how to do that in snow and battling elements. It was very powerful because at the end of the day, they are rescued. And there's just this huge build up to it where they're waiting for months in freezing, just brutal conditions. And I thought, like, okay, well, this is my motivation right here. I can keep going if these guys could keep going. That's kind of where my headspace is now. And I actually teared up a bit at the end when they were being rescued. And one quote stuck out to me, not just from this latest watch, but just that echoes from this documentary from times I've watched it before, which is basically, if you're faced with something that you feel you can't overcome, no matter how hard you try, ask yourself, well, come on, are you breathing? have you stopped breathing? And if the answer is, well, no, I've not stopped breathing, well, then I won't give up and I'll keep going. So no matter how bad, obviously this play is not a life or death scenario, but your brain is absolutely a pro at making it feel that way. It is certainly a survival mechanism built into our brains, and that's why we do that to ourselves. So I want to say that, well, obviously I'm not quitting, I'm not giving up on this play, but I also don't believe that there's no way that I won't go another year. It certainly could, with every catalyst along the way just being shot down. And I'm a little bit on the pessimistic side, admittedly. A lot of times, just by my nature. And I've kind of said this before in my community, in Discord, that I'm on board with bigums. Nothing's going to happen certainly before September. And who really knows what catalyst is going to set off? Because if this recent one or recent ones in early June didn't set off the squeeze, what will? So that's where we're at. And that's really my thoughts. And that's really where we're at. Certainly we should still enjoy our summer. And I'll certainly try to do that. And on that subject, I want to try to have certainly a little bit more of an enjoyable summer than I've had before. And I've been kind of fascinated by trading, although I haven't really officially done it. I was always against it before, but I've now had a whole year. Certainly didn't expect this play to be going so long, I guess. So while I'm still here and still in this play, I may as well try to make a little money on the side. And I got a little bit of a scare at work. Even though I wouldn't really say that I'm particularly fearful at this moment of being fired, because they treat me like family and certainly don't want to see me leave, but I made quite possibly the biggest mistake of my entire 3.5 years being there, which is, so I work in an insurance agency, and you have to be very tactical with your emails, which is mainly what I do. I can also talk with these people called underwriters on the phone at these large insurance companies, while we're a small insurance agency representing clients for businesses. And it can be daunting to talk with them on the phone. So it's a lot easier, makes more business sense to communicate in emails. Well, I usually do a good job with that, but not this past Friday on the last working day, because they're actually competing agents. So the agent that we need to communicate with, that they have direct access to the carrier we want. It's like a short pipeline. I looped them in with this other agency over here, which had to do with a completely different carrier, but my mind was confused. I was thinking this agency was actually this agency, and I actually looped them both into the same email. And if that sounds kind of bad, it was really bad. So I don't know where my mind was at. I don't know how this happened, but that's the type of thing that at a normal job would get a person fired. And that's exactly what I did on Friday. Maybe subconsciously I wanted to get fired. I don't know. It certainly is a low-paying job, but that's what I did. That's what happened. So my mind's in kind of a weird place. I guess another reason why I wanted to make this video. And I think I want to try that on Tuesday just to see how it goes. I thought about it a bit and I want to play it safe. So even though I've kind of picked up details here and there, tools to use from other traders, I'm not going to use options, but I will buy shares, even whether it's a red or green day that day. And I did go out and pick stocks. I was thinking of picking out 3. I ended up picking out about 10. I don't know much about these companies, but I guess that's not always a requirement to know too much about the companies you choose. But I'm just going to play with them. And it's going to be for about an hour before work, getting ready for work. I'll just look at my phone or the computer, and then I'll head off to work. And my goal is before I go out the door to make 40 to 60 bucks in profit. So I would buy at the beginning of that hour, roughly around 300 bucks, which is in my budget right now, in my belly. Sell about an hour later and be done with it. So what I've done in the past, way back several months ago at this point, is I would hold multiple days. And I think that was the first mistake that I made, is that if you're going to do something like that, you want to be tracking it each day. And I just didn't do that before. So that's going to be my new strategy, and I'm going to take it seriously. So I'm actually going to treat that as an extension of my workday. So yeah, wish me luck. Also, this video is going a little bit long, so I kind of want to stop it here. But if I do end up posting this and there are people out there listening to this, thank you very much for watching. I'm not going to require likes or even, well, I prefer if people comment. But I'm mainly just doing this to get my thoughts out of the way. And it's very therapeutical for me as well. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for watching. If I do post this, it'll be on a brand new channel. So I don't expect, if I continue these, that I would do them that frequently. It's pretty much just might be like every few days. Anyways, that's it. And if there is a next video, I will see you in the next one.